In less than a year, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 will be released in theaters. Not much is really known so far except that the so-called Spider-Verse is likely to be even more odd. When Sony posted 2 images on Twitter a few days ago, many fans were rather disappointed and pleasantly surprised. You can see the classic Spider-Man costume in front of the big city setting, though it is unclear which Spider-Man is behind the masquerade. The director is Joaquim dos Santos, who has already worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender or The Legend of Korra. Whether Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 can match the $375 million box office takings of its forerunner, we will be able to find out from October 7th, 2022. Warner Bros.' epic Dune film adaptation is definitely one of the surprise hits of this cinematic year. Of course, fans of the book series and the first movie version already knew about the great potential. However, the final result must have surprised even them. After the film has been running in US theaters for over a week, Warner and Legendary decided to officially announce this sequel to the desert spectacle. Director Denis Villeneuve may now venture further into Frank Herbert's novel series and delve deeper into the complex story. We won't know exactly what happens next with Paul, his mother, and the Fram for roughly 2 years, with Dune Part 2 set to be released in theaters on October 20th, 2023. Tom Holland's probably last MCU film, Spider-Man No Way Home, will soon hit theaters. After Peter Parker's identity is revealed and his request for help from Doctor Strange backfires, we can expect an extraordinary multiverse spectacle. Despite the fact that the second trailer has still not been released, there have been a total of 5 new images in recent days. On the Twitter channel of Empire Magazine, you can not only see the latest cover in all its glory, but also pictures from the film. On them, you can see Spider-Man captured by the tentacles of Doc Ock. Well, almost all of the images are obviously very Doc Ock heavy and whet the appetite for more. In the issue released on October 28th, another 2 images appear, one showing MJ and Spider-Man in action and the other showing Doc Ock under a bridge. In other pictures, we get a look at Spider-Man without a mask and once with a mask fleeing from Doc Ock. The latter image is reminiscent of the scene from the trailer in which Doc Ock makes his first appearance. All in all, this is nice stuff to look at. What fans, including us, want most of all is of course a second trailer. It shouldn't take too long now since Spider-Man No Way Home will be released in cinemas on December 17th, 2021. It is impossible to imagine the Star Wars universe without Hayden Christensen. In the 2000s, the 40-year-old Canadian played the role of Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader, in Episode 2 and Episode 3. At the beginning of his Star Wars career, Christensen was highly controversial among fans, many simply not satisfied with him playing the role of the supervillain. Fortunately, this opinion has changed considerably and Christensen is now one of the more popular Star Wars actors. All the greater was the joy when he announced a while ago his return to the Obi-Wan Kenobi miniseries, which is currently still in production. Well, now there's more news, because as The Hollywood Reporter informs, Obi-Wan Kenobi will not remain the only series in which Christensen plays his most famous role. We're referring to the upcoming Ahsoka series, which is set about 5 years after Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and thus also after The Mandalorian Season 2. Clever fans should not be puzzled, after all, Darth Vader actually died in Episode 6 after the final clash with Luke. This raises the question as to how Anakin Skywalker will appear in the series. One obvious guess is that Anakin will appear as a Force ghost, similar to his appearance at the end of Episode 6. Another possibility is of course the appearance and several flashbacks to the time of the Clone Wars when the relationship between Anakin and Ahsoka strengthened. Such scenes are of course already known from the animated series The Clone Wars. That doesn't mean, however, that some scenes couldn't be reworked in live-action format. We are definitely excited and look forward to seeing Hayden Christensen in the Ahsoka series by Disney+, which will probably not be released until 2023. Significantly earlier will be the release of the Book of Boba Fett series instead, which is a The Mandalorian spin-off as well. Fans can expect a streaming start on December 29th, 2021. In the upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog 2, there will not only be a return of the antagonist Dr. Robotnik, but also several completely new appearances of characters from the Sonic universe. Among them is not only Sonic's faithful companion Tails, but also the initially hostile Knuckles, who at first sides with Dr. Robotnik. Since August, we know that Idris Elba will dub the Red Echidna. In an interview with Screen Rant a few days ago, the 49-year-old Brit with a distinctive voice talked about his role as Knuckles' dubbing actor. Elba was unable to reveal much yet due to contractual commitments, of course, but there definitely won't be a sexy-sounding Knuckles. The origin of the sexy Knuckles narrative is unclear, but it is more or less a funny in-joke about the rather domineering and stubborn character as opposed to a serious fetish surrounding the fictional character. A sexy-sounding Knuckles would be out of place in a family-friendly franchise like Sonic anyway. Many fans reacted to Alba's statement on social media with faint outrage. Others can hardly imagine Knuckles not being sexy in the movie. Regardless, this is an interesting discussion that will certainly have another few highlights before the film's release on April 8th, 2022. This year was a special one for US actor Brendan Fraser. The 52-year-old went viral and dominated the topics of social media channels for weeks this year. The reason for this was neither a major scandal nor premature demise. Instead, the net community decided to simply express their gratitude and celebrate the likable and humble people behind many Hollywood characters in the 1990s. Now, many fans will be happy to know that the Mummy actor will soon be seen in a new role. The talk is of the DC comic book adaptation Batgirl, which is currently in production. Fraser is to star as the pyromaniac villain Firefly and give Batgirl a hard time. She in turn will be embodied by Leslie Grace, while J.K. Simmons also gets to return to the role of Commissioner Gordon after the Justice League Snyder Cut. There's still very little information about the story, but it's mainly about the duality of Barbara Gordon and her alter ego Batgirl, which she first finds out about during the series. Directors Adel El Arbi and Bilal Fallah will be in charge of directing, bringing the script by Birds of Prey writer Christina Hodson to life. The Batgirl series is currently still in production, but it is expected to debut on HBO Max as early as next year. The Barbie doll from the US company Mattel is probably one of the best-known toys in the world. No wonder then that various movie studios have tried their luck at several adaptations in the past. For almost 2 years now, a live-action adaptation with Margot Robbie has been under consideration after many of those responsible have previously abandoned the project. In addition to Robbie, another big Hollywood star could soon announce his involvement, and that is none other than Blade Runner 2049 actor Ryan Gosling. If Deadline is to be believed, Warner Brothers and their favorite Gosling are already in the final stages of contract negotiations for the role of Ken. Many film fans are naturally wondering what exactly the plot of such a film adaptation could consist of. After all, Barbie is first and foremost a toy and not a movie franchise. The main character will certainly not appear as a dumb blonde like Barbie has often been made out to be in the past. First of all, such an image is not contemporary, and second, Greta Gerwig, a woman who's not known for indulging in role cliches, will assume the director's role. Either way, Warner Brothers seems to see great potential in the project, as evidenced not least by the signing of top stars Gosling and Robbie. Whether the story will live up to the great effort remains to be seen, yet a little skepticism is certainly not unreasonable. Filming on Barbie is scheduled to start next spring. This week, we can especially recommend the new trailer for the fantasy epic The Wheel of Time. Besides this, are you a diehard Harry Potter fan? Do you want to be up to date with the latest news about the franchise? Then take a look at our movie preview of Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore on our channel. You won't regret it.